I'm excited to welcome the 3 people who made the mural on our building possible. So I'm going to share my screen right away so everyone can see. Oops. That amazingness. And I'll introduce our 3 panelists. Tash Billington is a Philadelphia native who uses art to heal, motivate, and give back to the world. Tash, who specializes in photography, painting, and community engagement, is best known for assisting on large-scale public mural projects and her involvement in the Women's Mobile Museum Collective, which is taking you to South Africa soon.
Yes, September 11th in South Africa, Johannesburg. Yes,
that's exciting.
possibly Cape Town.
Nice. Can't wait to hear more about that. Tash has worked with Philadelphia Mural Arts, Tilt, formerly PPAC, and Amber Art and Design. In 2019, she was one of 180 featured in a New York Times portfolio review selected from 3,500 worldwide applicants. Mural Arts Philadelphia included Tash in the organization's 2020 Philadelphia Fellowship for Black Artists cohort. Congratulations on all that amazing stuff. I am going to turn on the other thing I need to turn on, transcripts. Okay. Emily White is a sculptor, painter, and muralist from Brockton, Massachusetts. She earned her BFA from Massachusetts College of Art and Design in Boston in 2011 with a focus in sculpture. White has received awards including the Win Challenge. She has a Visual Arts Fellowship finalist from the Center for Emerging Visual Artists and participated in the artist residency at Haystack Mountain School of Crafts. Her artwork has been exhibited in public spaces such as the Philadelphia Zoo, the entrance garden of the Philadelphia Flower Show, and in the Philadelphia International Airport. White most recently had a solo exhibition at Arch Enemy. She used to be around the corner. In our old building, we were around the corner. Her 2D and 3D work has been in group exhibitions in the US and abroad, including shows at Harvard's Peabody Essex Museum in Salem, Massachusetts, the Philadelphia Art Alliance, and Fleischer Art Memorial. She has worked on and off with mural arts since 2013. Emily White lives in Philadelphia and is a muralist and sign painter. Kien Nguyen grew up in Reading, PA, and earned his BFA in illustration at Maryland College of Art. He's been working with Mural Arts since 2005 and has worked with Mural Arts after school programs, restorative justice program, and other things, I think. Yeah, he lives in Philadelphia with his wife and 2 sons who are 3 and 5 and help him with his art sometimes help him with his art. We all know how that goes. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you my question, and then we'll go back and look through the images that you all sent me. I'm just going to start in order, please sitting closest as I can. Can you tell us how and why you made the brave decision to make your life in art?
Ever since I was a kid, I loved art, and I do remember a teacher just giving me some compliments on the drawing I did, and then since then, it felt like that's what I wanted to do. So
that made you feel good that you were going to.
It made me feel good, yes. And then I also had an older cousin who was really into art, and I kind of looked up to him, and that made me want to pursue art in college. And I feel that it didn't become a real choice until I came to Philadelphia and just saw the opportunity, especially with the art school. I think that propelled me to be more, to act on it and make it a reality.
So seeing the murals sort of helped you know, like, okay, people must be doing this, must be a job.
Right.
So you were talking earlier a little bit about your first experience with the murals. Do you want to talk about how that helped you end up with that?
So my first experience with the mural was our teacher asked me and some friends to help me in the mural for the public library. And to me, it was a chance to do art and a chance to be with my friends. And it was a great experience. And from that experience, I never felt like I could actually do it as a career, but I think that experience stayed with me. And the fact that you have this collaborative artwork So different than, an art assignment. I think that's what made it stand apart.
And you were an illustration major for college. What was it about illustration that was what drew you to illustration? Your focus?
I think with illustration, it was a very direct kind of art. It's like, you see it around you, you see it in the magazine, you see it in billboards, and it was a very immediate response. If you liked it or you didn't like it. And I felt like I wanted that connection.
And that feels very much like a murals.
Exactly. And now I feel what I'm doing now is kind of just.
But that's an immediate connection. Now you can creep and sit near the mural and watch people have their reaction, which you don't get to do if someone's looking at your illustrations.
Yeah.
All right, I need to
people
get
are
right to
direct with
creep.
you, and they'll give you your feedback or even talk to you, which is kind of special. You don't get that.
That's a good point. Yeah, people seem to be more willing to tell you what they think if it's big in the neighborhood. Cool. Great, thank you. Oh, I do? Oh, no. There's so many little things popping up on my screen. Thank you. Let me turn off the reading room, which is what I use. Okay. Gosh, you answer the same question for us. You
How and why.
how and why? Yeah.
So, how, say the question.
Yeah, absolutely. How and why did you make the brave decision? That's an important part of the question, to make your life.
How by just getting involved, just doing it, just doing it, just showing up. Why? When I was younger, I just saw it as like I saw it as it's kind of like different way of seeing things and just like exploration, just like possibilities, opportunities, fulfillment. So how just doing it, why I was lucky to be like being from Philly. I feel like I was kind of like at risk when I was in high school. High school is when I really got involved with Mural Arts programs. I participated in after school programs and internships, and then actually being able to assist. And I think it was for a moment we had like the apprenticeship thing, so it took like the next level of internship. And just like meeting people from all over, starting to like establish relationships with different people. So it kind of like opened my eyes and just gave me opportunities to travel, to connect. Like Kien was saying, like when we were out working on sites, people come up to us that normally probably would like, if we're just walking down the street and just walk past. But when we're out there on the site, people feel comfortable enough to stop us and say something, speak to us and engage with us that normally wouldn't happen. I think like being out there working on murals in their community, any community, people are like, oh, hey, yeah, what's going on, what's happening? Most of the time it's more positive and negative. I have been on sites where it might be negative because they don't know what's going on. But then you see like after a few weeks and after a month, then you see the different, like, oh, I get it. I see what's happening now. Like, oh, that's cool, So it's pretty cool. So why I do it is, I think essentially it's like wanting to imagine a more like, I don't know, united city,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, word, like, you know, beautify the neighborhood. Kind of imagine, it's kind of like a transformation.
Mhm.
So it's something to do about the process of like seeing a mural like burning again, where it ended up with, and just the process of it. I fell in love with more than the process of like working on the mural
Mhm.
and that you need.
Yeah, that's a really wonderful way to think about it. Uniting the city through beautiful images that we all get to share. You talked a little bit about, I think you said earlier that you had some experience with art like in middle school, and then in high school there wasn't so much, but mural arts, maybe an artist from mural arts came into your high school. Is that how you got connected to the after school program?
Yeah, it wasn't an artist, it was a staff from the art ed.
I don't
know art. Music saying. I think they was like students. And she came from there is where I think, I started doing like that school program. At first, I did a summer job. We worked ready.
Okay.
And then when Lisa came, she introduced me to like attending at the school, you know, used to be like at the school programs, like till like in the fall. So then it became like, it wasn't just the summer, then it started being like in the fall, then it started being, yeah, so then from there, then it started. Then once I started assisting, and I started working on projects, and project varies. And yeah, I've been able to work on like some pretty cool projects. I think my big breakthrough, the first project was Pioneer. One of the big breakthrough, which was a big project in Philly, was in North Philly, the project called Philly Kien. And that was like the first project where I worked with artists from out of the country. I was on two Dutch artists, and they had like this big thing to work in the development of Brazil. So yeah, Germantown Quarter, we were outside like working on storefronts, like we like do stretch. So it was,
Is that the stripe?
yeah, it was
So
all
when you
documented.
I've been driving down Germantown.
But Germantown,
recently,
Lehigh,
and
that
it's
whole
just-
strip right there.
Yeah, I was like, what's
Yeah.
happening? All the storefronts are united by these amazing
Yeah.
colors. Wow.
So I think that was in 2012.
Well, I've just been enjoying it this past week, so thank you for really amazing when you just like turn the corner and see something beautiful and continue the whole day. Thank you. Thanks for answering that. Emily, how and why did you make the brave decision to make your life
I feel like I'm in the same spot as Kien. I feel like it wasn't really a decision. Short answer, I wanted to do it, but I was do the best. But I was always like good at art. So I just said, I mean, I was really good. But this is good enough that it's like you said that you have to keep moving, so you have to, I feel like that's interesting, because we could all just like, I would say like, it's hard work. I don't want to be people that can really do their jobs. So I think that's why I still do it. I've like expanded and did a couple murals, and I got the internship in 2013. And I actually worked for an artist who was assistant with me. So I taught him and we got one of projects outside of that artist. And I've been but I moved to Philly and I love it. It's like 2020 Boston. I don't know if there were any murals I remember. So it was really pleasant surprise to see some people around. I was already like working on large scale sculptures, so I loved the idea of this working on large scale things.
You mentioned the first time you did a mural. We talked before. In
Okay, so I high school, I mostly did, I ended up going to school for illustration for a year. So my favorite sculptor. While I was in college, I spent 3 months volunteering at an organization and there were people there just doing the coverings, like in some color. And I just like on myself, I was like, I could paint murals. So I just like, there was kind of me. So I just made a few ones.
I was gonna say, did you ask them what they wanted?
I was like, I'm painting some animals, but yeah, I usually do that. And then I also, straight out of college, 2 of my professors owned this thing called Untitled Studio, and there's the replicate historic objects, and you heard about the time era culture of objects. And I've been working throughout college to ask her about the 17th century synagogue that was destroyed in World War II. It was like a barrel vaulted wooden ceiling, super beautiful architecture, and it was also all beautiful. And so I ended up being one of the one that was chosen to teach American college students who traveled throughout different cities to many cities. To like both scale that to the design history of Warsaw and so that was like academic cover that I had straight out of college. So I did have some experience with like murals before then. Definitely working on working with other people to I love all of that. I'm also like a fine art teacher, and it wasn't until like this year I started making any money on that, but I've been supporting myself with murals, so I guess it is. So it's a bit up that there is money devoted to murals, but that's like sort of a luxury.
So there's a lot of, all 3 of you talked about collaborating and, whether it's with the audience or with each other, and certainly with, well, we haven't really talked about, we're going to look at your own images for a minute, but I would love to get back to this idea that you're basically collaborating with whoever designed the mural too, right? Yeah. You're the experts of getting it up on the wall.
I don't think it's fun. I wouldn't consider it.
Okay.
There's different levels.
Conversation? I don't know. It's a relationship. Let's say that. It's not you doing something on your own. It's something that involves other people.
So this is something I wanted to bring up that will relate to this at Play Studios. Is more recently, I've been involved and also being attached to a smaller degree, but there's a lot of artists that have been invited to Philadelphia to work with the Mural Arts program who don't have mural skills, mural making skills, but they want to bring their art, their vision, and put it on the wall. So we kind of feel that need of the production team for these artists. So there's that's been happening a lot since the last 10 years, I would say. It's kind of, and that's kind of where I find myself.
Like a fixer. Oh, Ellen has a question.
Teacher, student. Is a basic grid method. So I remember for me that was one of the first projects I did in high school. You get a portrait of yourself. You put a 1" by 1" grid on the photo, and then you do maybe a 3" by 3" grid on your piece of paper, and then you just transfer it square by square. So it's basically what we did on this wall.
Okay, we're gonna look at some pictures. Oh, it always does this. Hold on a second. Hold, please. Something about the way it interacts with the projector. Okay. So Kien, we have your images first. You want to just talk us through your pictures?
Yes, so the images you're gonna see are examples of murals that I've done that have been designed by other artists. So this was probably the most recent, finished last November, and it's for Hardina, Indonesian restaurant, South Philly. And they wanted an Indonesian artist who they got in touch with. She lives in New York, and she hasn't done murals. So they asked me to help to collaborate with them. This was more of a collaboration. So we did talk about colors, we talked about how the images should look. And kind of, I also try to get a feel from her, like what she wants the final image to be. So it's a little bit of like mind reading on my part, and, but also being open to her suggestion and then trying to push some of the things that I think that murals would benefit from if there's restraints. So for this mural, it's the one restraint was the time. We only had a month to do it. And I noticed that all the images had black outlines. So I figured that the only way we're going to be able to do this is to use a paint marker, which is like a marker you can fill with the paint. You can basically draw. Because with a brush, we would have never finish on it. So and then that she was fine with it.
Did it have a different look? Like, why wouldn't she have been fine with it? You could have just said, I'm not doing outlines.
I think it needed the outline. I think it would benefit the outline. But this project was really exciting for me. It's the first in a series that Mural Arts is doing for the Asian American and Pacific Islander community. I think they're planning one for Chinatown. It's coming fall and winter.
Oh, great.
So I had a lot of fun. I worked with them on this, and we just drew everything right on the wall. Like, there was no projection, no grid. We just mapped out the diagonals, bands, and the windows. We kind of used those as our guides to put everything else in.
Oh yeah, because you were essentially then had a bunch of little triangles.
We had like smaller frames that we could work.
I mean, that's a lot of detail for 1 month.
Yeah. This one I worked with a local artist from West Philly, and again he didn't have no experience, so I worked on this with Tash and another artist, Priscilla. And this one we did grid out and draw and paint. And a lot of these murals that are much more simple and graphic, I prefer to do it that way. The other method would be use the cloth, which you can do with paint in the studio and then adhere to the wall.
These were both painted right on the wall.
Yes.
Yeah. And you prefer this method?
I do.
Yeah.
It's
more like,
more direct.
Right. Like you're making a painting.
The cloth is a lot more involved, a lot more work, a lot of big mess sometimes. But this is an example of a cloth mural, and it was actually printed. The mural was became a finished print, which Emily and I actually painted the portraits. So they wanted some of the feel of a painting in there. So we actually went on top of the print, painted in the faces and the arms and the hands. So that's what you're looking at. And then the rest of it is the cloth that we have here.
Did you paint after it was up, or did you paint it?
No, we painted it
in the studio.
So this was a mural project that was part of the restorative justice program. I worked with people coming out of the prisons, and it's the next image you're going to see is the companion wall. So the two walls face each other. They're underneath an overpass. That's on 22nd between Arch and Market. Yeah. So they're meant to show the two sides of these individuals.
This is just recent then.
It is spring, summer 2021.
And what were the people who are pictured part of the project of designing it? Or?
In a way, they were the design artists had conversations with them, recorded interviews, and a lot of the text is pulled from their conversations, their interviews, and asking the question of what did they experience being in prison, and then how they see themselves coming out.
That's amazing. And seeing yourself looking the way you want to be seen for everyone to see, that's so powerful. Thank you. I've learned today that Kien is brief but powerful. His bio is shorter and he had 10 fewer images than everybody else. Just as important, but thank you. Okay, Emily, yours are next. Do you want to tell us about this picture?
This is one of my old sculptures. It's American Bicycle House. It's a small scale timber frame, so there are hundreds of little laptops that make up the body of this, and I purposely melted some wall shag and they're all cast iron kind of small clips. This thing has been lugged around 74 seconds now, like 6 hours in Philly. It's been the airport, it's been the flower show.
It's amazing. And did you build it yourself?
Where's the storage space?
Oh,
Where all the good art is, right, Don?
yeah, I know.
Storage spaces.
I remember it up here.
Okay.
Nice. So how did you teach yourself woodworking and felting and ironwork? Like how?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my school had an iron course, so they taught you how to waxes, make certain shell. I very helped students with pouring. And yeah, there's a lot. You know, you can just reach out to like there's like a fiber studio so that that's when I started. That's when it's not. They're like hand cards and stuff, but they're not that.
No, but that's a complicated form. Yeah.
I had a model and then series of cross section.
So is that from school?
That was from, yeah. This is a piece I haven't sold and shown it, but this is one of my first pieces. It's small, 11 by 13. Most of my personal work is all.
Why do you think that is?
It's not, I don't know, I just love all it's about. So this is from last week. There was an event called Intelligence, shows you here where 43 artists live for 10 days. There's a DJ every day, lots of music events, other events. It was awesome. And so there was a few artists from Mural Arts and walls there, but I met a very wide range of people. It's one of the reasons murals are so great. They do an exceptional job of this. They made it very accessible to everyone. You can walk in. It was open to the public pretty much the entire time. You can walk in and you can see artists working, which is very rare.
What was the name of the event?
Tiny little elephants. Also going to drop this is for sale. Spot.
Great. So it's on canvas.
It's on
Or something movable.
yeah.
It's movable.
Yeah,
Great. Super cool. Watch that go up on Instagram. There you are. So did you have a grid for that?
No, I just did it.
The pieces in our gallery right now, if you saw the exhibition down there with all the plate paintings, that artist uses projection too. She makes the plates and then hangs them and then paints with the projection over. Anyway, that's another Claire conversation. Kids met.
This is the second time I've been here. We've always been on Main Street and I helped clean up the entire interior of the location, exterior, interior, it's possible to see the exterior. There's also stripes all over the exterior.
It's beautiful.
This is like probably my, like the mural I like the best in New Zealand. Been able to paint animals, but Brad Carney actually, I guess it's the only time he like gave a job to someone else, but he did this job for the roof or the little farmhouse. So I guess it's Allied or something used to be, and one of the temporary murals is 40 feet wide. And it's still up instead of temporary.
I know it is because I have pictures of my son standing in front of it. And if you don't notice, like, it's interactive. You're supposed to stand. If you stand here, then it looks like you have wings. It's really great. Good job. I love that mural. And now I know the artist. That's so cool. Lovely. Thank you. Tash. Want to talk a little bit about your images, your photography practice?
So, like 2018, 2019, I started a series, really native series. So it's about people born and raised here, and it's like in my photography, I like and trying to get like the raw motion and just like represent like just humanity, and, you know, sincerity, getting down to the essence of people, and a lot of it stems from conversation. It kind of starts with the conversation, dialogue, and kind of like learning people's stories. Some people I've already known, and some people I just approach and get to know. But in this series, it's all people from people born and raised in Philadelphia. So that's what these images are, all portraits. So they're here.
So
this work right here is a work that's been exhibited in Philly, some other cities, and I'll be exhibiting some of this in South Africa.
oh yeah. Can you tell us a little more about that collective? And
Yeah, women's mobile jam. So it's 10 of us, 10 women photographers from Philadelphia, and it was kind of like what you call it, like kind of like a residency. It was kind of like a lot of different group parts, pretty fast, intensive. At the time it was called PDAC, it's now called TILT. So when we first came in, they pretty much gave us access and resources that we normally wouldn't have had. You know, it wasn't like degree requirements or anything. You know, they try to make it very like open and, you know, for anybody that was like really interested in taking up this trade and learn more about it. And we kind of like it was also about representation and how that looked in museums and different places, and you know, step into some of these like old norms, you know, and these old, you know, so like yeah, we traveled to different museums, and we exhibited work. But when we first came in, 10 of us, we all came up with a series. First of all, we got to get to know one another. We had studio access. It was like a sacred space, you know. We came and it was like the first time, you know, we were able to come and just really like the first time where I could really just sit and ponder and think, you know, like sometimes things move so bad that you don't really, it's like you don't have time to sit and, you know, actually think and engage without, you know, it's without all the extra pressure. So it was like the time where we all came with pressures, We also were able to, you know, we got paid for our time that was there. We got provided cameras, we got provided access, studio space, and it also was in partnership with a photographer from South Africa. So we had different partners in South Africa, a lot of different funders like Kien and some other funders in Philly. So it was a really great experience. It was pretty intensive. We had like a lot of assignments and books that we were reading, and different trips. Talk to different curators, learning photography.
And so had you done photography before that, or?
I just done it kind of like as a hobby, like my phone, but not with like a professional camera or anything like that, you know. And PhD at Tilt, they have a great program because they actually like dedicated to photography. And open that, they have classes there, they have printers, they have studios, gallery space. So they were like big factor in getting this off the ground. We started like we exhibited in community spaces first. It was a place called Dixon House down South Philly, and Women and Girls Club in that park. And then we exhibited at PAFA, and we had like a work like collection there.
Wow, that's exciting.
As a good, so
So that group then decided to keep going as a collective. Is that what happened? Like your cohort from the residency has like continued, or?
yeah, so it was for a year. So it was from February 2018, February 2019. And what happened was one of the coordinators, Lori Chuck, she's like very big behind like keeping it going. So we've all like kept in touch, but what happened was we had some things like on the table before the pandemic hit. Right. So before the pandemic hit, we had stuff. So once it was after the final show was here at Till, and then we started getting opportunities to exhibit, like we see at Converation Mural Art and Design, we see a couple of other cities. Something. I think we were at a place. I think we were in Wisconsin. We worked with somewhere like in Oakland. But now we also have South Africa.
Yeah.
So that was like the big plan. Like we had fun to go to South Africa. Denali Mahoney is a photographer out there that we partner with. So Mahoney is a big part of it too. So there were people from South Africa that came here, and I was working with them. So now it's back on the table for us to go out there. And, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It was 10 of us set to go to South Africa. It's probably about 5 or 6 of us. We kind of keep in touch through email. Everybody is kind of like doing their own thing though.
Yeah.
But for the love and sake of the work, and you know, like, yeah, it's like
Keep it going.
yeah, keep it going. And we got a lot of great feedback. Like, I think the greatest feedback was like at the community centers, you know, and seeing, because basically it was kind of like bringing art to the community, you know, kind of set up. And it was like it was people that women, people that we worked with. There were some women that actually came and helped like build up like a physical museum. Like, so everything, we didn't know what anything was gonna look like, or any, you know what I mean? We didn't know how it came out. It's like amazing. And there was some women that came and helped build up the actual structure. It was like a sort of structure that how it was built up with the work. And it also was like making it work around the actual space.
Yeah.
So we would go to the space, and then from that, we get built up. Yeah. And create like a museum and a community. And it was open to the community public hours for how ever long it was. I believe it was probably like, it had to be open like a month or two. I don't remember exactly the time frame on it.
Yeah.
A lot of, it was moving fast though. But it was open for the public, like them, so a lot of people came and they leave messages and stuff like that, and you know, we all had I feel like there was like work for everybody, you know, and it's like I don't think Philly, or it's like it's something that you don't see, and I think that's what made it more powerful. You don't see all the time, like you had 10 women photographers create something like this, and that was represented from, you know, so it was really an honor to be a part of this.
Yeah, and you made it accessible because it was in the
Made it accessible.
neighborhood, which I think is really important. You know, we have lots of wonderful art museums in Philly, but it's not so easy to get to them always, which is why, you know, we're excited to have our gallery. It's free every day. We're in a neighborhood where a lot of people live, they can come in. It's the same thing. You have to sometimes bring
Yeah.
art to people, which is exactly what the murals are doing. So it's
Yeah.
really similar, that again, coming back to that idea of like sharing with people and hearing people's feedback is what keeps you going and why you love your job probably. I mean, sounds like you like painting too, but just, you know, getting that positive
Yeah, it's
feedback,
important.
making a
It's,
difference.
It's important, because
That's what you said earlier to me. Make you feel like you're making a difference.
yeah, because like when I was from Philly coming up, and it's even still like there's a stigma of like having that access to like maybe going to the museum or going to certain places, you don't feel welcome, you don't feel, you know, so
You don't feel like it's your place.
yeah, you
right?
don't feel like in your place when really it's for the public to be shown. Like I'm sure artists would want you to see it and you touch it. And, you know, sometimes it's like the work is a reflection of maybe a reflection of what's going on in the world.
Mhm.
Whether that's with words, so it was like there's work, it was work with poetry too. So whether it's word or installation with video and portraiture and photography, and another thing about photography is again is the collaboration. There is no image without the people, without the place and the things, you know.
Yeah.
And then like the documentary side behind it is that having something to leave behind for the sake of history and thinking about the bigger picture, thinking about the future,
Mhm.
you know, and to leave something behind is like an archive. And it's also another thing is like, when I think about photography, is like, you know, what's something that I would have loved to see or engage with, like being out there working on murals and engaging on art. When kids see you, it's like, oh, I can do that. I want to do that. You know, you see a way out, you see a possibility other than whatever hardship it could be, you know, because I come from humble beginnings and I've seen a lot of things, you know, that could have led me astray. So I'm not just here, just in some aspects, I guess it's selfish, but it's also like wanting to honor my ancestors and not, you know, let the life be in, you know, do something with this time that I had here. Do something and try to live in a way that can be fulfilling.
Yeah.
Just a simple thing. So some people may get caught up in material things and, you know, all this. But when I think about it now, it's really the simple things that matters the most. And the quality of the relationships and the experiences and the time, all those things is priceless, you know, and tomorrow's not promised for anybody. So we shouldn't take it for granted.
I don't even know how to possibly say anything after that. It's amazing and exactly why I think we all want to make art, but thank you for saying all that. That's amazing.
Thank you for putting this together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't always have like combos after we finish the murals, you know.
Well, it was so nice to see you guys every day for a while and like watch it go up, and I feel like there is a relationship.
Everyone has been so welcome. I feel like this is one of the more memorable fun projects I've had.
Nice to hear. Thank you. We appreciate how beautiful you made our building. I mean, we love Roberto Lugo is a genius, and we're so glad that he designed it. And Tariq, you know, everybody who drives by is like, you know, so excited about it. But we know too that it's really important to get it up on the wall and to put all that care into it. So I don't want to finish up yet. I want to show people, make sure that we have some images of the mural recorded. I think people were having trouble hearing. I was not pointing my computer in the right direction, but anyway, I think it'll be okay in the end. We'll have to turn up the volume.
Do you have the time lapse video? Guy across the street.
Oh no, I don't have that. Was it somewhere on
I
Instagram?
have
Okay, I can look it up, because I was just gonna show my little, Raymond took a lot of pictures as well, but these just happen to be in order. So we're going backwards through time. We're taking the mural off the wall so everyone can see. There it is. I still remember the first day that I walked towards the building and all I could see was the blue grid, and I was like, yes, starting. So exciting. There it is, just a few little bits of color. Okay, is it on yours, Emily? On your Instagram?
So did
Did we put it on Instagram?
I still have the post.
Oh, right. Oh, there. Ah.
so was a mural considered as soon as you found out you were gonna have a new building? Or did that come back?
So, yeah. What happened was, before we, probably after we broke ground, but before the real construction started, Mural Arts called us, right, Josie, and asked if we would want to have a mural by Roberto Lugo on our building. And Rob's a good friend of the Play Studio, is a board member. He, you know, he's very involved with us. So I think I think it kind of came out of Jane having a relationship with Tariq. And then Rob has been in touch with Tariq as well, like through Philly kind of artist circle things, right? And I know Tariq was like a big inspiration through Rob. So it just sort of all made sense together. And I guess Tariq's relationship with Jane was probably why he said yes to being the subject of the mural. So yeah, we said yes right away, and so honored and happy to have it to be on our building. And it really, you know, we love our architecture. We love the image, you know, the front brickwork is really beautiful, but that big blank wall was really so glad that we have that plan.
Yeah.
Because, it makes a huge difference. And, you know, we know that, I'll just keep playing that a couple times, that there was collaboration, right? Because once you got it up on the wall, because of the way the mural, Rob's design had to change a bit because of the, you know, the width of the wall and the window cutouts, right? So we have to kind of move it over, and in order to make it look balanced, we sort of had to talk in the end about how we're going to add something on the left side, and to avoid every single person walking by saying, "Is the middle good?" So Kien was instrumental in that conversation as well.
It's because I think a lot of times when an artist starts a design, they don't have the accurate measurements, because either it's no equipment that can get them directly on the wall. So in a way, it's sort of an estimate.
Right.
And that's the case with this. Like you kind of estimated
Well,
what the
he also he had to design it before the building was built. So he had measurements, but I think in a way like they weren't, you're sort of conceptualizing this, right?
Mhm.
Because there wasn't a wall when he made the drawing. Yeah, so it was a little bit of those things. So do you have any stories about when you were getting it up on the wall, or any thoughts about, maybe not, I don't know. Oh, see, I didn't share my screen. people are not seeing it.
We have many stories of things that, yeah, just like weird setbacks, like two of the lists broke, like just a
Oh,
lot of
yeah,
bad
it's-
stories.
It was a slow start. Yeah. It was a slow start. The weather, and then one that broke. And then also the barrier that's in front of the wall. So issues.
Because you
with-
couldn't get the lift.
Yeah, so originally we had a scissor lift, which you have to drive close to the wall and it takes you up and down. But the barriers, prevented us from getting close enough to aim. So then we had to switch out for these videos. We go through
And then you all.
and then they're much more strict about training now. They're not certified.
Safety training.
In the early days, you could just learn on the job and just operate it, and no one would check or. But since the projects keep getting more high profile.
Yes. Well, and right, we want everyone to be safe. Oh, Raymond's asking if there's going to be a label at the bottom.
Yeah, I think they're still planning on how they want to put the credits on. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even.
I think I
think
did,
about
I suggested a plaque.
Oh, okay.
Because cars parked right in front of that other space right below.
Yeah. And you wouldn't put it over the mural image?
I don't think, well,
Maybe
maybe
in
in
the
the
bottom left.
bottom left. But I'm not sure how that would look.
Yeah, that's too.
Yeah, I don't know, do they still do it where they make it part of the painting?
Sometimes, yeah.
The Arabic that's the names of.
Yeah. Raymond's just saying that in Arabic, I have to repeat it, or it's to read kids' names in Arabic, which is nice as well because we have a mosque down the street, so there are definitely people in the neighborhood who speak Arabic, so it's meaningful on a lot of different levels. And then the two people on the sides of the vase are Sonia Sanchez and Mary Baraka.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I don't actually know who's in the middle. I don't know what that is.
Oh, I believe it's their manager.
It's their manager. Oh, I definitely didn't
Rich
know that.
Nichols. I remember.
Rich Nichols. That's a good money-making name. Rich Quarters, Rich Nichols. Cool. Did you get to meet Harry?
Oh, he was
being
swamped
handled.
with people and,
Okay.
I didn't get-
Did you?
I did get
I met
to,
him before though, yeah. Yeah, because he had one board, he's been at Walmart before, with the project, I worked with Amber Arts.
Mhm.
And so Amber Arts, they did the Boots mural.
Oh,
And then Tariq coordinated a project that I was a part of for a friend of his named Sean White, the 8 years booth that was in South Philly.
oh, okay.
So he actually, that was a project before he coordinated.
Oh, nice.
the videographer who took this time lapse, he was, Mural Arts gave him a stipend for this, for doing this, even though he wasn't expecting it. I think he just did it because he saw a chance
Saw
to
it, yeah.
document something. And then
Oh, nice.
And then he took the stipend that Mural Arts gave him and actually bought us multiple with it instead.
From
because he did-
downstairs.
Yeah, he didn't want to keep the stipend.
Super nice. Yeah.
So, but I feel like a lot of projects, there's always people doing really, really nice stuff. That we really-
Great.
That's special.
Any final thoughts? Comments? You wanna end with?
Yes, yeah, thank you for having us. Oftentimes we like kind of go for it, like it's about like the designer, Mural Arts. So we really appreciate like even that we had to talk at all. I don't think this ever happens for us.
Well, that makes me happy. I'm glad. I'm so pleased to get to know you all better and know your work and now to follow what you do next, and please come back anytime. You're welcome to come and you're part of the Clay Studio family.